Coming up on Wake Up NonStop, local plea deal. The Spokane man suspected of killing his ex-girlfriend in Bozeman pleading guilty to the crime. The details on that plea and why the victim's family members are concerned about the possibility of parole. Taking aim, the new study from Washington State University showing adolescent gun deaths are on the rise. We're talking to one of the researchers behind that study straight ahead.
And waking up to mild conditions across the inland Northwest, but we have big changes starting this afternoon and evening. All those details coming up.
Also this morning, the federal government goes home, the Senate out of office until Tuesday. Yet another failed vote to fund the government. What this 10-day-long stalemate now means for service members who may miss their first paycheck coming up. All that plus Mariner Madness. A winner-take-all Game 5 awaiting the Mariner faithful tonight. What's at stake as the M's try to rewrite history? Coming up on the Wake Up Show.
Wake up, you gotta rise to the sun. And here it comes, it's time to make the best of what you got to give. It's all about rising, and I wanna be there.
All right, here's what's on deck tonight. The Emerald City bracing for playoff madness. Later tonight, T-Mobile Park will be rocking for a winner-take-all Game 5 of the American League Divisional Series. The Mariners are hoping to punch their ticket to the AL Championship Series, which means they'd be just a step away after that from going to the World Series. Thanks for joining us here on the Wake Up Show. I'm Sam Adams. Kalai has the morning off. Pretty simple math, folks. If the Mariners win tonight against the Tigers, they face the Toronto Blue Jays for a spot in the World Series. But if they lose, their magical season will come to an end. We're going to take a closer look at tonight's matchup a little later in the show. But first, let's get the forecast from Amy Rose here at home and also at T-Mobile Park for tonight.
Yeah, if you're heading over to Seattle or just watching the game and wondering what the weather's going to be like, here's a look at the forecast. For Seattle, temperatures in the upper 50s and lower 60s. The good news is, looks like it's going to be mostly dry for the game tonight. Game time is 5:08 at 4 p.m. 60 degrees with partly cloudy skies. We'll see partly cloudy skies throughout the game. Temperatures, again, in the mid to upper 50s. So really a great night for baseball. And of course, in forecasting a Mariners win. Here's a look at our temperatures this morning. A few degrees warmer than we were at this time yesterday. 60 degrees in Spokane, 64 in Pullman, 58 right now in Ritzville. We are going to head for temperatures again above average, not quite as warm as yesterday. 72 degrees for our high. We will see increasing clouds and showers moving in this afternoon and evening. We'll take a detailed look at Futurecast and time out what you can expect. That's coming up. Sam.
Okay, thank you, Amy. Continuing coverage right now on the stabbing death of Megan Stedman, the Spokane woman who was allegedly murdered by her estranged boyfriend. This was December of 2023 in Bozeman. Chris Foyles, the suspect, has now pled guilty to one count of intended homicide as part of a plea deal. Stedman had been missing for nearly a month when Idaho Falls police were notified of a suspicious vehicle matching the description of her RV. That was on January 12th of last year. Police say that when they approached, a man walked outside of the RV, identifying himself and saying that he had killed his girlfriend. Her body was found inside that vehicle. NonStop Local reaching out to the Stedman family about that plea deal.
She was a strong young black woman, mixed, biracial. I think that was part of her journey. Some people are like, I don't want to talk about race, but like, if you're from a different race, you experience different things. And I wanted him to be in there, for like a million years.
The family also told us they're thankful they won't have to go through the pain of a trial. They're also hoping that Foyles won't be granted parole. They believe he is still a danger to the community. Now, under this plea agreement, both sides are recommending that Foyles be sentenced to 60 years in Montana State Prison with the possibility of parole after 25 years. His sentencing is now scheduled for November 25th. In a crime tracker alert, the Spokane County Sheriff's Office releasing video from an attempted burglary last Thursday in Spokane Valley. Spokane Valley and county deputies all called to this home just off of South Park Road after a neighbor called after seeing two people breaking into that home. Now, one suspect followed deputies' orders and commands and was arrested when she walked down to the home, but the other suspect tried to run away. You're looking at video right now as deputies used a drone and canine unit to track that person down to a nearby home where they found him hiding under the deck. Deputies cleared the house that was broken into, and inside they found drug paraphernalia and a third person hiding inside a small cabinet. All three were booked into county jail. 2 are now being held on felony warrants. A new study from Washington State University now showing more children are dying from gun violence than car accidents. The study finding that more than 3,200 children and young people between the ages of 11 and 18 died by gun in 2022. That's more than any other cause, including car crashes, disease, or random accidents.
In previous studies, when they looked at these 1 to 19-year-olds, they found that firearms surpassed motor vehicle accidents around 2020. But when we narrow it into middle and high school aged adolescents, we actually find that cross that happened earlier.
Now, this new study from WSU found that firearms became the leading cause of death for this age group in 2017. Elizabeth Waybright, who you just heard from, says a possible solution is having ongoing conversations with your children about guns and being safe when around firearms. A man suspected of breaking into the Washington State Capitol building Sunday is expected to make a plea in court today. This is 29-year-old Gunnar Schubert. He's accused of breaking in and then damaging property and setting fire to flags and other historical artifacts, including a prized piano with ties to Spokane. He was found by Washington State Patrol near the building shortly after their arrival. Schubert, formerly playing baseball at Gonzaga back in 2017 and 2018. He's charged with second-degree burglary and third-degree malicious mischief. Thurston County prosecutors have dropped arson charges in the case. A live look right now from the U.S. Capitol building. We enter the 10th day of the ongoing government shutdown. The Senate won't reconvene until Tuesday next week, guaranteeing the government will now remain shut down for at least 14 days, a full 2 weeks. And if the shutdown were to continue past Wednesday next week, all active duty troops would miss their paycheck for the first time in U.S. history. The Senate could pass a measure to avoid that, just as they did back in 2013 during a similar shutdown. But both political parties remain at an impasse.
Don't come with this phony.
These are bills.
No.
These are bills. They're not phony.
It's
They're
not
real
a bill
bills.
that Republicans are even prepared to bring to the floor.
There's 11 Republicans on it. There's 4 Democrats. It's a bipartisan bill to extend the Affordable Care Act subsidies. If you believe in it so
do you
so
understand
much,
math?
why won't you?
And that video now going viral of House Republican Mike Lawler and Democrat Hakeem Jeffries. This was on Wednesday, showing that growing divide between members of Congress. Other lawmakers saw the video as well, noting that these parties need to work together to get the government back open.
Everybody's playing games. They're out there filming videos, swearing, trying to look tough by using cuss words. I mean, like literally, this is ridiculous. We all look ridiculous when that kind of stuff happens.
And the longest government shutdown in U.S. history was in 2018. The government then was shut down for 35 days. A judge has now temporarily blocked the Trump administration from deploying National Guard troops to Chicago. It comes following the Trump administration's court visit defending deployment in states that don't want them there. Oral arguments being heard in courts in both San Francisco and in Chicago on 2 separate cases regarding those deployments in Chicago and Portland. A federal judge in Chicago handing down her ruling late Thursday afternoon, saying the deployment would only add fuel to the fire that the defendants themselves have started. That pause is in place until October 23rd. Meantime, a 3-judge appeals court panel in California appeared willing to grant the Trump administration's request to pause a lower court order and ruling that blocked its efforts to deploy the California National Guards to the streets of Portland.
This is something that, clearly the founders were concerned about. There's been a lot of debate about how this should be used. So I'm not trying to diminish that. It may well be that the forces are used in an improper way, but we don't have any evidence of that right now.
The panel said it would try to issue a ruling as soon as possible, but did not provide a timeline. The Downtown Spokane Partnership is asking for volunteers to join them for Fall Clean Week. It's next week, but today they're looking for people to sign up. NonStop Local's Noah Bolter is live this morning, live from downtown.
Well, Sam, we've been walking around downtown and looking for some of the different areas where volunteers might be focusing next week. And if you take a look right here, you can see a broken up pumpkin. I'm just disgusted. This is on the ground in downtown Spokane, but this is what volunteers will be focusing on next week. And to talk more about that, let's introduce with the Downtown Spokane Partnership, we have Elizabeth Hooker. Elizabeth, what is Fall Clean Week?
Yeah, Fall Clean Week is about getting out and helping clean up downtown and having a great time while doing it.
Okay, so what does that look like? It's not just picking up pumpkins.
Yeah, well, you know, we have a really busy summer here in downtown Spokane. There's a lot of big events and activities that happen, and even though the Downtown Spokane Partnership Clean Team is cleaning up downtown 7 days a week, we do not focus on areas like parking lots that are privately owned, so our volunteers can come out and help us pick up some of those more neglected areas as we get ready for the winter.
Well, and to sign up, what do people need to know?
All you have to do is navigate to citysquad.club, click on the volunteer tab, and sign up to volunteer there.
Well, Elizabeth, thank you so much. And real quick, before you go, I want to show the people what you got in your hands because that's some of the equipment they'll be using. The good news, they won't have to bring it because that will be provided. Live in Spokane, Noah Bolter, NonStop Local.
And with the safety vest as well. All right, Noah, thank you. More to come here on the Wake Up Show, getting ready for the weekend. Kate Hudson from Visit Spokane will be joining us as we help plan your weekend. That includes a concert from one of the all-time greats, the Beach Boys, in town. We'll have that coming up.
And with planning your weekend, you need to know what the forecast is going to be. Changes after this week. All those details coming up.